Greetings and salutations. I'm Javaune Simpson and you're watching Validate This. Now today we have another special guest with us and his name is Renard Riddim Anderson. Now, good brethren of mine, if you are following me as it pertains to media content or creative content that I've put out there, then you would know that this person is somebody that I've done videos with, several videos with, right? And we're coming from what? University days, definitely. He is actually floor manager, video producer, CEO of Popthequestionja. It's an unusual name, but by listening to the name, you can almost tell what it's all about by listening to the name. So he's the CEO of that, and today we'll be talking about his life, getting to this point of being a young professional who's doing big things out there, to the point of, I don't want to give away too much, but to the point of going abroad and stuff like that to do what I call it. What the poetry name again?
Spoken word.
Spoken word. One of my favorite type of poetry, I would say. There's something unique about it. But nevertheless, as I mentioned before, we have Renard Riddim Anderson. Greetings, sir.
Thank you for having me, sir. Validate this.
You validate this, it is.
Yes.
Right. So, firstly, is a St. George's old boy, by the way, right? Or not an old boy, or a young boy. And he's somebody that is very passionate about his institution. As I am passionate about mine, he's passionate about his. Right?
I have reasons to be passionate because St. George's College is the best school in the world. Every other school sign orders.
Alright. And the funny thing about it is that what I realized yesterday was that the person who made that statement, he's actually from St. George's. Oh, so you actually know.
Come on.
You actually know. Alright, cool. So, St. George's. You went there. I think we were probably in school the same time frame, around the same time. What was school like for you?
So let's talk about getting to the school first.
Getting to it, yeah.
Right, because in 6th grade, after the GSET and stuff, when I got my results, I saw on the results, there wasn't an exact amount of how much I got, but it was, 80, 90.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then we say Holy Trinity, right there. And I'm like, I saw Trinity pass mark high. I didn't think that, so I was like, well, and then we go home and I told my mother that that's the Trinity. But then when I went back to school Monday, my form teacher, my grade teacher was like, you need to tell them to get into a different school because that pass mark is not the Trinity, right? Tell them to try and get an Excelsior or something. Yeah. And so my grandmother actually went she went to several schools. She went to Excelsior, she went to Woolman's, and Woolman's said them just full up on personal.
She never go Camperdown.
The first time Woolman's tell her, somebody from Woolman's told her to go to George's.
People pass Camperdown, go Excelsior, and go back to Woolman's and not even check Camperdown and that. So we have space. Pretty sure we have space. That's it for go.
Yeah. So my grandmother went to George's and they accepted me, and the rest was history. Going to school at George's now, I didn't really appreciate George's until I left.
But why though? Is it that the culture there never created that space for you to embrace it as much as you should?
Not necessarily. I think because I'm from a place where I'm always seeing women. Right?
You know something no sir.
No, like first I didn't even know
that it was an all boys.
That it was an all boys school. Right? I know that 2 persons at my church went to George's and 2 persons in my community went to George's. That's as much as I knew about George's. Yeah. Probably more did go, but we only know 2 at the time. When we start going to George's, we know say, oh, that brother they live around there, so that brother there. So but the two brothers that went to my church were the first introduction I had to George's. Because I see the Chris and Marks and which school that. This was before I started to go to high school, and they tell me St. George's College. I'm like, oh, little did I know I would end up there and seeing them there. But the first thing I asked my mother when I got there was, where are the women? Because I didn't know it was an all-boys school.
Well, for anybody that is attending St. George's now or want to go there,
Yeah,
you won't have to ask that question.
Yeah, they
anymore.
have women
Because
in the sixth form program.
Yeah.
That came the year after I started.
So see, yeah, we definitely were in school at the same time. Because, well, yeah, we definitely were in school at the same time then. And funny enough, you know, I almost went to St. George's as well. Because I have my father is an old boy of St. George's.
Yeah, I'm looking great. I see that here, man.
And the moment we mentioned to this man, say, because remember, yeah, I have a similar story. Well, not a similar in that, because my past Camperdown, that was written on our papers and stuff. Had a similar average about 89, 90 there about too. When I passed for there though, I think it was really a second choice of mine to go there. But at the time, I wanted to go there because they were good in track and field. And I wanted to be the next big thing when it come on the track and field. And there was somebody I lived in an apartment at that point in time. And the person that was actually, there's a young man that actually went to Camperdown there. So that's how I knew about the school, number one. Number two, I remember there being some road blocking downtown. And I remember seeing the unusual uniform. Because everybody that know Camperdown know that, you know, the girls wear this plaid, yeah. It's pretty cool, you know, pretty cool plaid. And I was like, yo, it's gonna look interesting.
One thing I know about Camperdown, you know, the women who went to Camperdown, every single one of them had nice bunda. We don't know if
that's something that is very popular about the school, to be honest.
Yeah,
when it comes on
really and truly, you have this, even all when them slim. We don't know if they
and the girl make them point at duty for sure them, you know.
Whatever Camperdown is doing, keep it up.
Yeah. So, but I think they actually made adjustments to the uniforms though. So the uniforms aren't the same really. I think there's, I don't know what the ladies would refer to them as, but there's like some pleat on them, some of that sort. Some of them though, I don't think it's all of them. Some of them, I think I've seen them in their original
I've never seen them
uniform. Yeah. But aside from that, well, my Camperdown is a co-ed school as you rightfully mentioned. So I didn't have to get into that, you know, culture of being around, you know, boys or men only. You said it was kind of different for you, but was it something that prevented you in any way, shape or form to do anything?
No,
or do you think that would have happened?
No, I don't think. What actually happened is I think I got more competition there and more focus because there wasn't any women to distract me. So what I focused on was actually the schoolwork. Although I did take a while to settle down because I feel like my reach. You know, when I was in first form, the principal, who was Dr. Kennedy at the time, came in our class and told us that everyone in the class, or pass marks, could have taken us to Campion. Beat it out of my head, right? We feel like my reach. You know? And so after that, I did work enough to pass.
Well,
I did work enough to pass to go to the next grade. You know,
teachers at Camper don't know that.
Yeah, so the teachers always talk about, you know, potential and all of that stuff. And when I really got serious about it was like fourth form, especially in maths. Cause for first to third form, I felt like I wasn't good at math, but it was the math teacher. When I changed math teachers, I realized that
we allow you to assume which math teacher that is. Alright? So we won't call any names, but
no, call her name.
Yeah,
I know it down, but I not call her name. She, after I changed from her to another female math teacher, I don't know, it was so much better. And then I got to fourth form, the math teacher who called Big Red, Mr. Richards. Them man, like, if I say I'm not someone to stay like after school and them something like no sir. But when I'm finishing the lesson, I must say, sir, I understand. We sit down in the class and work on it, you know.
You know, you mentioned that, and it's somewhat similar to me. It's just that me never actually have a recovery period for math. So coming out of primary school, I was pretty good at math. Right? I think I actually got probably like an A when it comes down to the math in G side of things. But when we reach a high school, you rightfully mentioned that you were able to focus now because there were just males there.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. My brethren at the time, he passed for Jamaica College, and he knew more about schools than I did. So I didn't really know, co-head versus, all boy or all girl, whatever it is. He knows a film school or all boy school. So he must say to me, say, oh, you want exchange? I must say, exchange what? Yeah, got Jamaica College.
Yeah.
So he must say, no man, more exchange, come here, I want like a man thing. I said, brother, that's what I think about. But little did I know that it would actually help, because it actually helped me to focus on my academics and stuff like that. But whenever this, as you rightfully said too, reaching at Camperdown, I realized that my focus was not on anything named schoolwork.
Oh man.
My focus was on girl, yes, and
The tracks.
secondly, for the tracks, because as I say, being a track athlete was the it thing at that point in time. We had Adidas sponsorship, things are going good for it, they're going great for it. And I say, yo, I'm not going to forget about myself on track. Me getting back on track never happened until about between third form and fourth form too. So around the same time as you. But it was really a dean of discipline who was my former form teacher in 7th grade, that actually spoke to me. Shout out to Mr. Webster. I'm talking to me. I never bad me partner, but he just give me simple lesson. And the simple lesson was very effective. He said something to me. I think I'm going to share it with you briefly. What he said to me was this. Mr. Simpson, because Simpson now like a high school. Mr. Simpson, think about school, the school environment. Every teacher you come across as holding a knife. Them are holding a handle and you are holding a blade. And I think the thing about me was that I was quite often labeled as somebody who challenged the teachers. I mean, always say I know my rights and all them things. When they tell me to do something, I feel like I'm going in line with my rights as a child. I always talk about it. And he was saying, yo, think about the teacher holding the angle and you holding the blade. I'm sorry, then cool. I go through with him. I'm sorry, then cool. You disrespect a teacher and the teacher withdraw from you. What do you think I got? I'm saying I get cut. And he said, yeah man, think about life that way then. The people that have the knowledge that can actually depart it to you, think about it as them holding that handle in life. And if it is that you do anything to disrespect them and make them feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to do or whatever it is, and then pull from you, they get cut. Right? Just believe it. And it's something that always, just stuck with me from them time till now, till me I tell people. I reach a point in me that tell other picnic them thing that it seems to actually do something for them. So you're right with that, right? You mentioned the lifestyle at St. George's, and I think it's probably something that other young men would have actually experienced as well, knowing that it's an all-boys institution. But somehow along the way, you mentioned math too. But you have a gift, an evident gift. Because if you hear them man do them spoken word and thing, you know so them have a gift when it comes out to spoken word. How did you get into that realm of things?
Alright, so performing now. I grew up in Trenchtown.
Yeah.
And I was
shout out to the junglist them.
Yeah. And I was a part of a community club called Youth with a Vision. Overseer Zanlak.
Yeah.
She's passionate about community and youth development. So she started this youth club. And one thing the youth club did, we put on yearly concerts. So that was my introduction to performing. So we'd have put on concerts and people in the community would come watch and things. So I started off with dancing, like we had watch Thriller and we do over the Thriller dance them and all of them something do some
One of them create excitement, like when they create excitement to our football.
Oh yeah man.
One thing about junglist, them take them football seriously.
Yeah man, people pay them $100 for come and watch and them thing there, and it was I loved it. I love performing. I love seeing people face when I perform. When it comes to writing now, I went from performing in the concert to then being the producer of it. So we went from performing it to be the one putting it on. So Zan just say, oh, like probably she realized something I didn't, and Zan just say, go and go put it on. And so I was in charge of putting on the entire concert. So
I'm pretty sure.
And I also performed it while I was putting it on. So that it was that. And then with the writing now, I think I had a girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Right? And I kept doing things I didn't know I was doing wrong. And this is some love songs. And then I started off, I was listening to the love songs, and then after what I heard, I started to write my own version. So I was trying to write songs, but they didn't come out with
spoken word.
Yeah, end up with spoken word. And so I started to share these things with people, and start reading it. I started to write a book, writing, like I had a notebook just to write dedicated to poetry. So much so that when I was in 4th form, our substitute English teacher came because our teacher was sick today, and she came in and the assignment was to write a poem.
Jesus, you have that luck.
I'm a have a book. I was in class selling poems to people. Selling. So I was saying,
that's a businessman even coming out, you know. It's the most purpose and luck, you know, within the whole story there. The man become poet, he become writer, he become producer, he become floor manager because he might help to produce the play and all and something together and manage the stage and all and something, you know? So all them things are unlocked.
And so when she marked them down, she gave them 90 because she said it never original.
Give them 90?
90. she tell her she gave them 90 because they never write it on spot.
Yeah. So what you get?
You get 100 because I wrote a fresh one. So it was different.
You're the man.
But them I said them never know. So them, and then she took my book from me and said she wants to spend some time with it. And then when I got it back, I saw she marked it up and she was like, love this, yada yada yada. I can't even find a book anymore. But that was my because of that, I started to wanted to write more. But back in those days, I wasn't writing poetry to perform. It was just writing it to like, and everything rhymed, every line rhymed. And so, but then I got introduced, like, I watch poetry on YouTube, and this guy, Sonny Breaks, let's see, this British poet. I'm like, I want to do this. And so I listened and I watched all of his work. There's some other persons like Sophia Thakur, and I watched her and I'm like, I need to. So I soak in all of that, and then I try to change the way I write to fit spoken word, and so that's how the spoken word came about.
I mean, how it actually unfolded is a beautiful, thing to look at or think about, because and this is what I say to people, or what I think really. You never know how and when purpose will unfold.
That is true.
Like, you'll be just there doing your everyday duties, and somehow, some way, you gravitate to a particular thing, and you realize it's not just me gravitating to it this one time, it's something where I feel like I'm at home doing this one thing. So, it says to us that we have to pay attention to these things that are while they're happening, because you can miss it, You cannot go through it and I miss the moment itself.
I think I missed it a couple times. I thought it was just something that I can do.
Yeah.
I didn't see it as like talent
purpose.
Or purpose.
Yeah.
Something I can do and something I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So never look now resume. But then opportunities came through it where I traveled because of it.
That's where I wanted to get to as well.
The first time I ever traveled, first time I ever left Jamaica was 2014.
And it was through
poet. So I went to do a play in Scotland, but the people who asked to come and do the play knew me through poetry. So they had a workshop thingy that Zan again. Zan signed me up for the workshop and sent me to go and do the workshop, and I performed a poem there in the workshop. So those persons, when they got the invitation to go for the Scotland trip, they called me. I was doing. So I was going to schools talking to children, high school students about gender-based violence. I left high school, never have done for those. And Zan said, I think most of the things that I've done is because of Zanlock, and every time I see her,
shout out to Zanlock.
Me seriously, I can't pass her road at all. Zanlock, even university. As Zan say, yo, I time to go to university now, you know. And she give me the form to sign up and everything. So anyway with Zanlock, you know.
You touch on a very important thing too, you know. Because whenever it comes on to purpose, and purpose being unlocked or fulfilled, you realize that I don't remember if it was a pastor that quoted it this way. So don't think I'm stealing anybody's words. But it's like you have somebody that is there as a destiny guide or a destiny helper in a sense. So you don't see the talent we have. You don't see it as something we can do. But somebody is there to say, yo, no, pay more attention to this, do this. Oh no, make a right up to do this because you not say you can do this, so I make you do it. And it's serious now because as I say, we can actually miss the moment, either because we're stubborn or because we're just oblivious to what takes place.
Because I wanted to be a doctor. So my focus is never production and poetry and
it's something more, you know. Come on, you know what I'm saying?
From in primary school, I said doctor. And it's not because somebody told me, it's because I felt like I was supposed to that part they want to take.
And I'm pretty sure that, you know, being at an institution like St. George's College, for example, I'm pretty sure the history suggests that, hey, a lot of doctors would have passed through
doctors, lawyers.
There we go. And you going there now might have just added to that to say, and say, oh, doctor, I need to be now. Because I remember being a guidance counselor at a particular institution, and historically, it's like they're known to produce persons who further go into being a doctor. So medicine is just that, you know, and that's something that they push, right? So they're big on the sciences and stuff like that. And you can just think about it. Imagine somebody like you going there and feeling like, well, I'm here. I guess I know science is supposed to stick to. And that's exactly what you were trying to do. But there was somebody there to try and guide you. And we have to shout out to, is it Zanlock? Zanlock. I'm saying Zanlock. Yeah, make up a different name. Zanlock. Pick up to you. And the other Zanlocks that are out there, because I believe for everybody that we have a Zanlock in our life, you know, trying to guide us or trying to help us to get to the destination that we have to get to. So you mentioned going overseas. It's your first time traveling overseas, right? So you know it's a big door that opened for you. But you mentioned Scotland. How was that? Because a different environment from Jamaica.
So not necessarily. I guess the only thing is colder. That's mostly white people.
Yardman did it?
Yardman everywhere. Yardman everywhere. And I ask. But I think our flag and the Scottish flag have the same shape. Like with the cross, but them have the white cross and them have blue. The oars have the cross and so our flag and Scotland flag shape the same. They feel the same way about the monarchy that we do.
Oh really? That's interesting.
Yes. Because when we were over, interestingly enough, when we were over there is when they were trying to see if they should separate from the monarchy. So they did a referendum and
a historic moment that day, man.
Which is why it was very historic, because they had a thing. It was called the Tin Forest Theatre Festival. They had this dome-like thing that they were going to do something else with, and so the National Theatre of Scotland asked for it for like a week, so they could host this huge thing. Different countries in the Commonwealth would come and perform different pieces, and that would be the last time they use it. They're gonna do something else with it, and
that's somewhere that you would have gone.
Yeah, that's what we went over there for, to perform at the Tin Forest Theatre Festival.
So the man, history books. So one of the last performances done there, or the last performance done there, was when that you guys were there.
Yeah, the last set of performance, I think we performed on a Sunday, and the last performance was like a Monday or a Tuesday.
So the last set of performances, then you're a part of it.
So what they did is apart from the theater performance that we created, we also had to create like a workshop. So to teach people about your country and stuff like that. So it was like a cultural exchange. So there are people from India, Bangladesh, Scotland, different parts of Scotland, England. So it was just a huge amalgamation of different persons feeling this, going through different struggles, but have one similar connection, which is the Commonwealth. And then how they tell stories. And we were allowed to tell stories in our language. So we did a home show here, and the persons who came and watched it, they had an issue, or maybe the persons can't understand us because of the patois. But when we went over there, the people in the Bangladeshi speak Bangladeshi, Indians speak Hindi in them thing. We sometimes could hardly tell what the Scottish them are say. And then we were worried about being understood. So like we did it.
Not realizing that other persons were doing it with a whole lot of pride.
All authenticity and everything. So that was my first experience traveling, and my first time. Funny enough, that was the first time I got my passport as well. So all of those things happened within the same time.
So young junglist, turn explorer.
Right. We get my passport, we get visa, we travel, all in the space of a couple months.
There we go. And that's something that the doors of purpose would have, just kick open for you. Excellent. That's so inspiring in itself. I hope somebody out there is being inspired by it. But moving past that, alright, you do the poetry. I personally know that you're somebody that writes, right? And he has at least two books out there. And no, me still not purchase my first book. Me will listen to you, but me sit down and read. Jesus, take it away. It's a big problem. Not for saying I read it, because I read, but it's just that if you actually take the time and say I'm going to sit down and read, it's like a challenge, it's like a job within itself. But nevertheless, I've heard stories coming out of the book. I've seen interviews of him speaking about the book, and I'll allow you to talk more about the books in which you've written and what they're all about.
Alright, so I've written 2 books so far. I'm also writing my 3rd book when I finish.
Because me almost said 3 books, because I know me here mentioned a 3rd book.
I'm working on a 3rd book.
Let's not finish it. Alright.
My first book was a book of poetry called Tongue of Rose and Blood, and it's poems that I've performed that I put into the book. I also want to do like an audio version of it so people can hear the performance.
People like me
the aspect
can benefit from it.
Right. So if I've performed, some of them are on my Instagram. So people can go on my Instagram and they can see some of my performances. And
of course, you'll be seeing the tag or the name right there on your screen. The handle right there on your screen, so you can actually tap into what this that he has been doing over these years.
My 2nd book now is called X for Example.
Yes.
And X for Example.
That's a famous one.
X for Example is I think I needed to talk about some of the things that I've done, and the things that I've been through.
Confessions.
As it pertains to women. So X for Example is a collection of 10 stories. You can finish a book in like an hour. It's like an hour read. Short stories. I'm gonna make sure they're short so that people don't get tired of them. And it is about it. I think it's have like 8 women. 8 women, 10 stories. None of them are named. No women were named or hurt in the writing of this book. But they're all true stories. So it's not like I made up these things. All the things that are in the book are.
And that's what make them rather interesting,
right?
Because they're original, right? I tell you about 8 different relationships, as I say, but 10 stories. Right. So I'm assuming that at least one person have 2 different stories about them.
Right.
Here we go.
Right. So no women were hurt. No, well, probably.
I know, that's what you're saying there.
Probably feelings were hurt.
Of course, them read that here about themselves in my book.
I had one of the persons read it, and she said, I wrote her like she is a damsel in distress type of vibe.
Oh.
And I said, but
was she appreciative of that?
no, that she said that was her problem with the book, with her story. But I'm like, that's how that's how
how you perceive everything.
Right, so I'm writing from mine, and I'm also in the story. So it's not one-sided. I mean, if you want to go and tell your side how you feel about it, that's fine.
Write your book.
Write your book. But how I saw it and how I viewed it. And I've gotten good reviews about the book. It's on Amazon. For example, both books are on Amazon. You can go and purchase them.
There should be, the link should be in the description, right? Because I'll have to, do the rest. Well, though it should be hard to find, because I'm pretty sure I'm putting on my character one time already.
Yeah, and if you type in Renard Anderson,
there we go.
If you Google me,
there we go.
they more than likely will come up.
That's what he did there. See what he did there? And so we Google him, right?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You have a lot of. I'm out there.
There we go.
If you Google me, you'll see things from the Tin Forest. The second time I went to England, all of those things are on Google.
There we go. Alright, so we'll move past poetry, writing on the books. But another great thing about Mr. Riddim Anderson, is that he so happens to be, what's the title again? Floor manager and producer at one of two of the big media houses in Jamaica, right? So the man thing large, right? Because man I do excellent work out there, and I personally have observed him, in the workspace doing his thing, right? Tell me about that. How it is that you got yourself there? Well, not necessarily how you get yourself there, but I think you get what I mean. How you make the transition from poetry. Say, alright, then I'm gonna start out some media thing.
So I think it started the poetry thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life after I decided that medicine wasn't going to work.
Pretty sure that person on me too, dear.
That's the same. It was around the same time when I was doing all the
traveling and stuff.
The certificates when I was going to schools and talking
gender-based
about violence and thingy. And it was the same year that I went to travel. It was the same year I decided Zan come and say university. She gave me 2 forms, one for the scholarship and one for the regular sign up. The 2 of them write the 2 essays. They only took the one for the scholarship. And then we do a scholarship interview with them, asked, why should we give you the scholarship over everybody else? And I said, well, you'll never have another Renard Anderson. That's literally what I said. That's how I started it. You'll never have another Renard Anderson in your institution. And I want to change the world, and the world that I want to change, I have to change me. I'm my world first. So I have to come and change me before I can go and impact everybody else and stuff.
Imagine being on a panel, people. And hear a young man come in here interview and say all of these things. You must give the man the scholarship, because I say,
watch confidence. So when I traveled and I came back, I got the call to tell me that I got accepted for the degree for the program, but I wasn't told anything about the scholarship as yet. So tell my mother, she said, oh, you have to pay a fee, oh, you have to go to university. I'm going to say, no, but me I go. Monday morning, I start to school. I don't know nothing about no scholarship, nothing. I go to school, I go class. I go class, everything. And then I got called in the student services department. And then they told me that I got the scholarship. And so the person who was there, I think it was Rochelle. Rochelle at the time, and Rochelle said, so you don't start already? You say, yes. So she said, oh, you're one of those faith-based persons. Like, yep, most definitely. And so
let's
start. Because one of the things I learned from the persons who I went to Scotland with, Manifesto Jamaica, we got Leslie and Natalia.
You go up and say,
Leslie said to me that if you wait on money to do something, you'll never do it.
yeah.
And so when she said that,
Preaching.
because I was worried about the same thing my mother was worried about, like
We just
how
never
I-
make it seem that way though, because
Right.
you go ahead and just do it.
I was
And that's what faith is all about, eh?
yeah,
It is,
and so
it is.
I did it. Didn't wait on the money, and I got through.
And what? Within this first week, you got word that you actually got the scholarship.
Yeah.
So just imagine if anybody go.
If whenever they go, but that means an entire week.
Yeah, yeah. And then probably it would have been a bit hard to
catch up on-
transition.
yeah.
There we go.
So
That's brilliant stuff there. And I'm thinking that you doing media and communication, that's what you did in the
Yeah.
university, right? It was there that you was able to make that transition now into one of the top media houses in
right,
Jamaica.
yeah. I did my practicum
Mhm.
at the same media
media
house,
house,
and then when I finished, I traveled again,
Mhm.
and when I came back, I got a call.
I don't even come say the man that travel like a boss to brother thing. The man travel before he got in go to university. Then he travel again before he actually take up his job.
Yeah, so
And the man not too long come back again after doing this interview. The man not too long come back again. Traveler.
yes.
You need to put the title traveler.
Time travel actually.
Time traveler.
You know, time zones.
Yes.
Back,
Different times.
back in time. I travel back in time. But yeah, when I came back, I got called. So I started working on the weekend on one of their entertainment programs.
Mhm.
So I was the production assistant.
Yeah.
And then when the producer wasn't there, I had to be the producer. And so,
Opportunities, eh?
right. And then when some moving up was happening,
Mhm.
people got new jobs, so they were leaving, and they called me, asked me if I wanted to work on the morning show.
Mhm.
And I'm like, sure, you know, it's a bit more money,
Yeah.
more work time,
Mhm. Better
I think
experience.
better
you know?
experience. I get to work with persons I've only seen on TV,
Yeah, there we go.
and so I learned. I got the opportunity to work with them, learn from them, became friends with them.
Mhm.
Now I have them number on my phone,
Yeah.
and I can message and call and all of those things.
I'm gonna say people being like celebrity people, you know, like, you know, they tell people, man, having them contact to see video with the man as I laugh casually, the people, them like say, two of them just make breakfast and all that type of thing, you know. So he's living a life, and he's living, I think, the life that he wanted to live in a sense, eh?
Yeah, I'm better than, because even somebody in the university said to me, him say like, Renard, I make money now. I say, no, I make money now, but him say, come on, Renard, because me and him,
Yeah.
he knows Anto, so we on work with the boat away
Yeah,
and some
yeah.
of the different communities, but until it's on all over the place.
Yeah.
And I say, where we come from, you know, poor, you know, I look power now. And I say, yes,
Money compared to where we
I'm
come.
better than where I was, but I'm nowhere close to where I want,
you
to,
want
be,
to be, there we
but
go.
we're grateful for where I am now.
And I think that's the difference, because the aim of this is to really inspire and you know, to bring some level of awareness about the journey it takes to get from point A, point B, C, D, and the alphabet continues. Some people might see you where you are now and be like, yo, it must hard for to say, you know, not understanding, say, whatever journey they have to embrace, that is a similar journey that you had to embrace back then. When you were just moving on to from primary school, go to high school, you almost end up at one school where, you know, shout out to the school, but it's not considered to be a traditional institution. So you almost end up at a non-traditional institution. Some persons have gone to non-traditional institutions and have done well.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that because of our culture and how it is that we, you know, view certain institutions and view people that go there, it's hard for persons to actually come out successful.
Right.
That's what I know for a fact. Because me, I tell you, if they ever take me up and put me on non-traditional high school, I don't know what to do with my life.
See, the thing is, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
I think to be honest, is like if you come from most of the persons in those high schools come from similar background and similar communities,
Yeah.
right? So what they're going to do are the same things that them say.
Same things.
Me being able to go to a traditional high school allowed me to experience life through the eyes of persons who live uptown, and I got to be around white people.
Yeah, I said perfectly.
And all of those things,
Yeah,
and it gave me a different perspective on life.
Where you can go,
Right.
what you can accomplish.
Middle class, upper middle,
Trust me.
the wealthy.
Trust
you know, people left and go Hillel and
There we go.
Hillel.
And if you know anything about Hillel,
you know,
that's the school of the elites.
So those I think that's one of the greatest opportunities that traditional high schools offer you is
that's
perspective from different avenues, different backgrounds.
That's true.
When you go to one of those non-traditional high schools, you are around similar people, so it's hard to see a different viewpoint, a different vantage point when you're looking, when someone similar to you is showing you the same direction.
Yeah.
You say,
and it's almost as if the ceiling for everybody is almost like the same.
Yeah.
So I can relate to it because going to Camperdown, we listen. And that's probably the first place I actually get to interact, you know, up front with rich kids, in a sense. You know, you have some youth where when you get $500 a day for go to school, man I get $2,000 a day for go to school, and he might get dropped off at school.
Brother,
I'm driver.
Brother,
so I don't take bus, I don't take taxi, but he might get. I said, brother, so what the $2,000 for? Where you use it for?
Brother, I know this brother with it in my class, third farm. This man, he get drive come school, he bring lunch come school, plus him have lunch money. $3,000 a day. And he don't go home with it. You know what the brother do? He take your money and scramble it. He scramble the money. And then he have this also gave me another perspective, because there were persons he enjoyed watching people fight over the money way much up on the ground.
Jesus, please.
And me, you could have never. And he's a white boy. He's a Jewish white boy. You could have never. I must see that, and I'm like, you're not seeing a party like that. At one point,
I didn't probably not even know what that symbolized.
Yeah,
you know?
one point, one brother throw when I cheered him from out of classroom downstairs and dropping our youth and bust it up.
Jesus, while them a scramble,
while them a scramble, you know.
Listen,
they take out belt and fight and
over the money.
Over the money. Yeah, so it's so even that is a perspective as well. So I earned my money from those people legitimately.
Yeah.
I say, alright, I start a business with me. I buy lunch to people.
Brother, so, you know, so we have some somewhat similar stories.
I buy lunch to people, man. I take them order, and I have about 3-4 crates. I pack lunch in and them thing there.
For me, it wasn't the lunch though. They have some a link. Everybody remember from high school know this. I guess now it's like a confession. Say principal, I watch it now. Let me know what let me know where all of the Red Bull and Snapple and them thing they come from. So you used to have some drink. Could I get some drink? And instead of me keep the drink in my yard to drink for myself, pack up one duffel bag. Proper duffel bag, you know. Gone to school.
Yeah, tracks man say.
People that probably think so tracks things in there. Gone to school, brother. See the morning, let's go down and say, Sims, what you have? Open the bag. See by the day done, brother, feel like me rich. Feel like me rich. So we took advantage, and those persons I'm talking about are bringing the high lunch money demand something where uptown people them come and buy 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, they want to spend the money.
Cause them a show set and you have a guys. Him specifically, him love spend and him love the girl them see when him a spend. So me no mind when you want the girl them when you are spending, cause me I make money when you are spending. So the man come and him buy 2, 3 different Red Bull. Me I said in school, yeah, so we say give yourself trouble. Things you're picking that you were supposed to drink. But anyways, it was that type of lifestyle, and it opened up with eyes to, you know, entrepreneurial, you know, a mindset in a sense. Yeah. Own business type of thing. So as I say, pretty similar story when it comes down to that. And as you rightfully say, because we're going back to the non-check, because the way how we say it, we don't want people to look funny to say, yo, we are looked down upon a particular school. We not say any other way then. Because if we're willing to be honest, right? As I say, you say it perfectly. Doors that are open for you when you meet certain people. Because I can tell you, some of these persons that I've met were a straight up tone and thing. In the future, you see where that bond help you. Right? It helps you to form other bonds with other people. Put you in a circles where you probably never imagine yourself being in the first place. And you get to have an appreciation of that. As we say, being at a place or just anywhere in at all, can have to just be just non-traditional high schools, you know. It can just be anywhere in at all where if the ceiling for everybody is the same level, it's hard for somebody to come and break it. Because everybody I think about the same ceiling. Right? If it is that you have persons with different ceilings now, different experiences, and it's something that I experienced personally. Being a former guidance counselor, I was exposed to some youths. Some youths give themselves job in high school, and remember we bring them go on boys day event with the kid. And upon being there, you can see how enthused they are about what take place. We are bringing them back to school now. Boy, them can say, "Oh, sir, you never know them things existing, sir. Yo, you can't bring me come some more often." And it's like right there, you can say it's like them shock them to know, say all the things that take place in the world. And it wasn't that one there either. It's not as if like a fire to bring them go or anything like that. Kingston will bring them go. And the things in which they were exposed to right there and then allowed them to know, think to themselves, say, yo, when we can change my lifestyle a little bit just to get to this point here. And it's the reason, as I said before, why we're actually doing this. So I think this interview is going to be the staple interview in a sense, because it brings out why it is that I actually, decided to do this podcast here.
And another thing to add, non-traditional high schools are less resourced. And it's not because of the government puts more into traditional high schools, it's that traditional high schools has a committed alumni.
Alright.
The parents, the old boys, old girls, all of those, they put back money into the schools so that the school can develop. And a lot of those persons are in big companies, they're CEOs, managing directors, all them stuff like so.
Entrepreneurs.
And they pour back into the schools. So if similar persons from non-traditional high schools made it out and they pour back into, they go and have talks with them and say, I'm from here and I made it out.
And that's a difference.
It could make a difference.
I definitely believe that it will make a difference, because I've said it for years, and again, you have another perfect point to make. You have persons, it's this whole thing, this whole notion about traditional and non-traditional high school. That's the difference between them, you know. You have persons who leave a particular institution because they're not so proud of where it is that they're coming from. Sometimes they don't necessarily go back and say, "I help out the institution." While you have somebody who left from, I don't want to call another school name, but I call that school name because when it comes on to support, you have to respect the school. The school right across the road from it. The school right across the road from it.
I know that school is the son of.
I saw me here. So I father and son thing.
Yeah.
Like when I send him go across the road, go school and So we're talking about the great Kingston College. Well, I respect them because
they look out for each other.
Yeah. And no matter how long after, they might look out for you.
Once you see Casey on a resume, and the person who is, they might look out for Casey persons first. Any other school after. Jordan's probably come after. You have to respect that.
I have to respect that because when it comes on, I remember there was this incident in our country. Now I'm gonna make mention of it, but I remember this incident happened. A lot of violence. And I recall a person saying, yo, you had old boys that were taking persons from the school.
Yeah, putting them up
in houses so that they didn't have to get exposed to certain violence.
Yeah.
I mean, I say, yo.
They did that at George's as well.
I mean, I say, so when you have old boys association or old, alumni, alumni, right? As strong and as focused and as willing as that.
The students will be better off.
Them have it. It's like a must. And it's similar with other schools too, because we can call it that several other schools that do it. We know that Calabar, JC,
there's a school,
strong.
I don't want to call them names out them, right? There's a school where I was dating this girl, and when she sent me her email address one time, the name of the school, the initials, and the first thing, an email address, and then her name, and then whichever, at gmail.com. And I asked her why, and she said, when they started school, they said to do that just in case any old girl from that school see it, they know say, oh, you're from this school.
What you say?
That also opens opportunities and avenues for you. So them look out for you. Oh, them say this, oh, you know? So those are things that
there's so much things that get unleashed.
Before they even see the resume,
there we go.
Them say from the email alone, she will say, this person's from there, so look out for them. And there's nothing wrong with nepotism and looking out for your own.
You're the man.
No, but it is nepotism.
It is, because when you say it, it is clear.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with looking out for your own. Because
I don't know if I want to say, but what I will say is this. I'll piggyback on what you said earlier, in the sense that if we, no matter which community or which school you're coming from, if we create an environment like that for our institutions, then the playing field becomes a bit leveled, because you have persons from Holy Trinity, from in all walks of life.
I know a girl that came to Georgia Sixth Farm. She came from Holy Trinity. And 14 subjects.
Alright.
I don't even
doing better than some persons who are got traditional high schools.
I don't even have 6.
Alright. And I've heard about persons from 2 different schools still. Edith Dalton James, and I think Pembroke all at once, that went, I don't remember how much subject, but all I know is that it was above and beyond. I was thinking to myself, where are these more subjects?
That come out of those schools big, but because of the reputation of the school, it gets those persons get the back burner. Which is why they
and you go back to the resources that you mentioned.
Resources,
before,
if there are associations, them reach out and make this bigger. You see, people would feel better. But if everybody from at the same place and look at the same vantage point, nobody can see nowhere else.
And don't be offended. Get up, put yourself to work and support the institution.
Support the institution.
That's the moral of this
whichever it is.
That's the moral of this.
I even support my university. And
there we go.
If you know which university, they need the support. They gave me my degree, so I can't really.
And you say it's something that I grapple with, because guess what? As I say, our stories are pretty similar, because I too was given the same scholarship, and it was one of the deciding factors of me getting into university, because initially you're supposed to know I love graphic designing and stuff. Graphic designing was something that I was passionate about, love it, even though I still love it, but probably not as much. I say well on the graphic designing. Then journalism came on the pathway as well. And along with journalism, I know psychology was there as well. So I had 3 things on my plate, right? I was like, yo, which one am I going to do? I'm not too lean towards journalism, to be honest. But graphic designing, definitely. To the point where I take up a farm for Edna man to say I want to go this. Long story short, I said to a certain person and thing, and the person was like, no, no, for reasons I won't say or state here on camera. Not because I'm afraid, but out of respect. And it so happened that a mentor, so you see, destiny help us. I mean, half a bigger up. Auntie Marjorie, big up yourself, because she was actually a psychologist assigned to a youth group in which I was a part of. So you see, we still have similar stories here. I mean, say, what she did was that whatever she heard along the pathway of what it is that I had a dream of doing or whatever it is, she's like, you need to do this. And she was the one that, thanks be to God, put it in me to say, she convinced her mother, say, you need to go university and you need to go the university here. And it so happened that we ended up at the same university as I said before, getting the same scholarship. I went there and I'm talking about, do the interview. I think this was like my first interview me I do ever. Go in the room and I see about 5, 6 people me sit on the panel. I said, jeez, I wonder where so much people on one panel star. And the person them start asking me questions. I really have my answer. I was pretty confident because in my mind I'm like, yo, them time I'm fresh as a Christian and I say, yo, faith just turn up and I say, yo, is either for me or for me? Just go down my answer the question them. And it so happened that, as I said, as you rightfully said, got the scholarship. I don't think me start school I even know so me I get the scholarship still. Me didn't get the scholarship, me didn't get the letter before me actually start, I think. But what I saw on it was that me have to maintain or get higher than a B average, and I'm like, yo.
And the thing is, you know, once you give me something that I have to maintain, I'll maintain it.
Jeez.
Me not a problem for maintaining.
But your story kind of different because I just said you did the well in high school. Me, listen.
Well, in some parts, like English and maths and
the one part of high school, me did the well in arts.
I'm tell you a story about my literature teacher. Right? The reason she signed me to do the literature CXC.
When you say because of poetry.
No. I didn't have not one literature. I don't read none of the literature book then. But she would come into class and discuss them.
Oh.
And we were supposed to write an essay on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write the essay. I'm gonna pass. And then she asked me how if I have the book then I'm gonna say no. So she said, how you pass? I'm gonna say, based on the things you say in class, I wrote the essay from that.
Man,
and she
brilliant,
said, you write the essay from the things that she said, yeah, she said, okay. I should just sign up for do it.
The woman's brilliant?
Yeah.
Cause she wonder how you do that.
She signed up for do it. In fourth form, my literature teacher say, you look like somebody who don't do work, but you do your work.
Yeah. And
they're thugs, you know. They're thugs. My tie pants and yada.
But that's similar stories. But as me say,
work I for do.
You touch upon something. You mentioned what the teacher said about, you know, you look like somebody ready to work. And she said it in a good way, but it brought back to light something that a teacher said to me and I'm bridging him in a primary school days. And that's something more impactful. And I guess we can, you know, to the closing at the interview and stuff. But, and I'm saying it because we want to remind people never to shut out or shut down somebody aspirations what they have.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where they're going to end up. But I'm not hold against teacher, you know. So if the teacher watches and she remembers she did say it, then good. But nobody, you know, feel like me I hold against her. I don't know if Bridget I hold against her. Hopefully not hold against her. But the same Bridget me say Pastor JC. I remember that teacher, she come in the class. I think she was a substitute teacher that day. Because our farm teacher wasn't there. And she come and she say, see you, so you know. I remember her exact words, but it's like she said, we're not gonna do well.
Nah, I'm on to nothing.
We're not gonna do well. I meant to say, I don't know if because them tell them well jovial and stuff, you know, me and Bridget well jovial. Because we give ourselves a little trouble. Because we did well popular in our primary school and stuff. So we do work because we ever compete for first top 5. Always. Right? Mock exams are always top 5 winner. But at the same time, we give ourselves trouble. When them say chat, we chat. Right? And my teacher they would always tell my mother say, oh, him class clown. You understand? Because I have an intro set. I take it on as my personal job. To give the pitting them joke in a class.
Yep.
I have to spice up their life. Right? And I can't forget that you said that to us. And after we got the CXC news, because I got CXC news the Sunday before the Monday at school. Because I had that big up that teacher, Miss Ennis. You know, brilliant part of my life as it pertains to primary school as well. She was another destiny helper too, because when it comes on to extra lessons and stuff like that from grade 2, them times she had do extra lessons with me. Sometimes we don't really have money enough some of the times, and she just do the class with anybody less. What I wanted to say was that when you pass GSAT and go back to school and the same teacher come back and she realized everybody thought about them GSAT passes and whatever it is, and who never pass, you know, so they're more silent and they not talk and things. But me and Bridget, well,
Jovial,
we happy.
chattings.
And I think she said, so which school you no pass for? And she said almost like she
she's
expect
right.
something.
Yeah.
She expect something,
She already knows,
bad.
yeah.
And when I say Camperdown and Bridget say Jamaica College, and she
Take
I
it
look
back.
back and she like, oh, alright, that is good. That is good.
Shut up.
And yo, I don't know if my Bridget remember it, but me I tell you say I something remember for years. But what I did, I think me never allow it to get to me. But you know, I'm saying it because you don't want to say certain things to some people because you never know what can be held against you. As in, you know, you say, you know, what can get hold against you in the court of law.
Right.
You never know what somebody might hold against you. Because if I was somebody who would go hold a grudge and all of these things, you know, I could have, you know. And also it could have held me back in the sense where
Because
we
they
just start
probably
out
believe
myself.
her, yeah. And
Yeah,
she's a
so
teacher. And
Here we go. And I mean, I think so she know what she has said.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was a story that went through. But I hope persons have been inspired by his story.
Me too.
I hope so. Right, because it's a great story coming from the great place of jungle. Because great persons have come from jungle too, you know, and continue to come from jungle. Right, despite how the environment is viewed. You know, it comes down to violence and stuff like that. I have flare-ups every now and then, but I'll be able to save now, right?
You know, I was the one part of it to be behaving myself. I mean, there were times I did part with the wrong crowd.
Yeah. Because that's something that it's a bit hard to
To avoid.
being in the environment. So
You know, probably at a different time, we can do different stories
Yeah.
of how we used to walk up on the with tools,
Yeah,
past police
yeah,
station
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything there.
mercies of the Lord.
Mercies of the
has
Lord.
kept us,
What?
you know, intact.
I mean, I get in trouble
There we
learning
go.
something there, because
That's-
God used to cover me all of the foolishness.
Yep. And
Oh,
I mean,
Lord.
high school, similar thing to me. I mean, you know, there were times when, well, from primary school, I grew up in a place called New Haven, Doing Park. And if you know about it, they have it close to a place like Sherlock and Brook Valley and place like that. So when going to primary school, the great primary school, by the way, George Henry Primary School. I said we're closing, but just give me a little rambling. Which primary school you went to, by the way?
New Providence Primary.
New Providence.
36.5 Barbican Road, right beside National Chest Hospital.
You're the man, man.
Can't miss it.
You're the man.
You can't miss it.
Right. I remember that environment for me, being in primary school, was, it was crazy. But as a primary school person, a student attending primary school, I think it was more of an exciting thing to me. But thinking back about it now, it could have been something that was very traumatic for me. Right? I remember going to school one day and soldier up on top of the school roof with the rifle point out, helicopter the power football field. They might look for some wanted man that year. And those things just seemed exciting to us at that point in time. You know, I remember one time we went to school and we hear about, you know, a schoolmate of us, her parents, you know, being killed and stuff. So these things are some things that could have contributed in a negative way.
And I think,
you know, thank God it never
a
happened
part
that way.
of that is, I think they probably know.
Mhm.
It's probably like police and soldiers.
Mhm.
They just don't think about the fact that them thing here, even though they might try to stop crime
Yeah,
and them thing
yeah.
there, but the things that they do also affect young people, and them grow up and see police and kill them people and them grow up with a hatred. Them now go uptown, go dip a rooftop on them something there.
Yeah.
Them a send call them and tell them to come in.
Yeah.
So, but you know, you have to think about all of those things because
you never know it will impact.
right, the trauma
Never
can
know.
transform into
Never
hatred,
know,
and the hatred can
Trust
lead
me.
into them going into the same avenue that you're trying to deter them from.
Trust me.
So-
Because, as I said, it never ended up being a traumatic thing for me personally, but it could have been, and it might have been for other persons in the environment, based on how they view things. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm in a primary school, I want to be an FBI agent. So I want to be an FBI agent, right? So that's probably exciting to me. But for somebody else now where I live a more mild, lifestyle type of thing, that might have been traumatizing to them. As a matter of fact, at that point in time, I think there was some trauma to it because I'm gonna mention the man name I look for that time, but I remember the man name. One of the man name, at least. But these men were them they traversing the hill them. If you remember that time, them they traversing the hill them, so them they look for them. And because our school was close to the hill here, so I tell you, man, there were days when I go to school and I look up in the hill and I say, I got man that. I go to school like me a soldier now look out for safe. Because I think say since the soldier them come so close to our school, come our school, I think say them they close to we. So I went to school several mornings and I was just looking out in the hill. I'm not even afraid or what, but I look out at the hill with an expectation, say, yo, I might possibly see a gunman one day. But it's an excellent discussion. Again, we have with us Renard Riddim Anderson, the great poet, the great media personnel, the great content creator, the great CEO of Popthequestionja. Right? That's something that we definitely have to talk about, but you can look forward to another sit-down discussion with Mr. Riddim, Renard Anderson. Thank you for coming, sir.
Always, man. Just call me, I'm there.
Right. Stay tuned for more. If it is that you are subscribed, then you will definitely get a notification to say that there are other videos there. If it is that you're not subscribed, then please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like the video if it is that you like the video. If you don't like the video, then it's fine to say you don't like the video. Put it right here in the comment section. I want to know who can improve for it.
But you like the video. Be honest. You like a little discussion.
Yeah, man.
You have to figure out what you want right in the comment section. You say, no, man, conversation is nice.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to show me a talk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right? I will bring interesting people always, right? So look forward for more interesting things. Much love. God bless.